There is a deep divide among Formula One drivers over the regulations that will come into force in 2026, and the reasons behind this controversy could radically transform the future of the sport. While several competitors describe the future cars as peculiar and draw comparisons with laboratory experiments focused on energy storage systems, Lewis Hamilton appears to be virtually the only one enthusiastic about the prospects ahead. The central question is whether the concerns expressed by the drivers are well-founded, or whether we are witnessing an instinctive resistance to change. To understand this polarization, we must examine the core of the new technical regulations. Starting in 2026, Formula One will implement a system that balances electric propulsion and conventional combustion engines. The proposal seems elementary, but its consequences are monumental. Oscar Piastri, representing McLaren, expressed himself incisively before the Belgian Grand Prix. There are unnecessary obstacles that will contribute neither to the competition nor to entertainment. When a young competitor like Piastri, known for his diplomatic stance, expresses such concerns, it is clear that the situation is causing genuine unease. The first substantial issue lies in the weight of the vehicles and their aerodynamic characteristics. Future cars will not be significantly lighter than current models, but they will have more compact structures and smaller tires. The consequences? Less grip, reduced ground effect, and lower cornering speeds. Estimates point to a decrease of up to 30% in aerodynamic effect, meaning that vehicles will simply travel more slowly, exactly where the difference is crucial. On the technical sections that distinguish exceptional drivers from conventional ones. Charles Leclerc tried out the Ferrari simulator in June and was categorical. The experience was not satisfactory. However, there is a second, even more intricate difficulty: energy control. The electric system will deliver 350 kilowatts, approximately 3 times more than the current 120 kilowatts. However, recharging and storage capacities remain limited to 8.5 megajoules per lap. Lance Stroll was even harsher, describing the whole concept as a scientific experiment focused on batteries. The Canadian's comment may sound excessive, but it touches on a sensitive issue. Drivers are afraid of spending half the lap fiddling with controls on the steering wheel, managing energy like engineers instead of speed warriors. The International Automobile Federation has acknowledged the discontent and initiated changes. They have developed a gradual power reduction system that will progressively decrease energy delivery before the available charge is depleted on circuits with high electrical demand. They have also established a flexible energy capture scale according to the track layout, replacing the fixed 8.5 megajoules per lap. On certain circuits, the limit will be just 5 megajoules. These changes came about after fears that, on tracks with little braking, the only alternative for capturing energy would be braking or easing off the accelerator on the straights. Leclerc acknowledged that the developments are moving in a positive direction, but highlighted something worrying. It will be necessary to abandon much of the knowledge acquired during his career and start again from scratch. For a driver who has been competing since the age of 4, having to partially erase his muscle memory is truly peculiar. Herein lies a fundamental aspect. Some competitors will adjust more quickly than others, and this could completely reshuffle the existing hierarchy on the grid. The stopwatches are unlikely to record significantly slower laps than at present, but for completely different reasons. While the cars will be slower in corners due to lower grip and aerodynamic effect, the more compact structure and active aerodynamics should enable higher top speeds. The higher proportion of electric power should also allow for faster acceleration out of corners. This indicates that the performance profile will be completely different, requiring a new driving methodology. This is precisely where Lewis Hamilton stands out from the rest. While his colleagues express discontent, the 7-time champion sees opportunities. Hamilton believes that drivers will have an even greater influence on development, especially on the power unit and how that power is used. For him, the fact that they are competing in the current championship while developing the 2026 car is fascinating. This difference in perspective reveals something profound about competitive mentality. Hamilton, with his 7 world titles, sees change as an opportunity to reinvent himself and demonstrate his versatility. The other drivers, perhaps less confident in their ability to adapt, perceive change as a threat to what they already know. But the history of Formula One has always required drivers to transform themselves as technology evolves. Giuseppe Farina won the first world championship 75 years ago in a front-engined car with drum brakes and a wooden steering wheel. He did not wear a seatbelt because the orthodoxy of the time held that it was safer to be ejected from the vehicle in the event of an accident. Compared to today's standards, it was little more than a rudimentary go-kart. Fear of the new is not restricted to drivers. It is telling that the first tests next January will be conducted without public access at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, a stark contrast to the televised events of recent years. Formula One does not want to repeat the porpoising fiasco that affected the current generation of cars. However, Carlos Sainz, who now represents Williams, offered a more realistic perspective. Drivers will adjust to whatever is available. If they need to make 6 or 7 button changes per lap, they will, and they will become proficient at it, as they always have. This statement is perhaps the most honest, because it acknowledges the fundamental reality. Formula One drivers are elite professionals who adapt or are replaced. The real issue behind all this controversy is not whether the 2026 cars will be superior or inferior, but who will be able to adapt more quickly. Max Verstappen, the current 4-time champion for Red Bull, will have to demonstrate that his supremacy transcends the current car. Hamilton, now at Ferrari, may see this as a final opportunity to showcase his adaptive genius. Younger drivers such as Piastri and Leclerc may find that their youth gives them an advantage when it comes to assimilating new concepts. What is at stake goes far beyond slower or faster cars. We are discussing a potential redistribution of power on the grid where accumulated knowledge may be worth less than the ability to adapt. And in a category where tenths of a second determine careers, this transformation could be revolutionary. The resistance we see today may be just the last gasp of an era that is coming to an end, as a new Formula One is born before our eyes. The question is, who will be prepared to embrace this new reality and who will remain stuck in the past?